This is Citizen Weekend with Olive Ballows.
Protests and human rights. Just this week, we saw the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen say bail terms of 50,000 shillings are too lenient for suspects such as Stu, who he claims and were charged in court with raiding a hospital, and Murkomen saying they terrorized patients and interrupted a C-section. The very next day, we saw mothers at the Thika Law Court say 50,000 shillings is not too little, as they protested what they viewed as prohibitive bail terms following a charge of robbery with violence of suspects at the Thika Law Courts connected to the Sabasaba protests. And just this evening, activist Boniface Mwangi could face terrorism charges, and that is after his office and home were raided and he was subsequently arrested. I'll be joined by Dimas Kiprono, who is the Deputy Executive Director of the International Commission of Jurists, and together we look at protests and human rights. Let's take a look at the highlights.
What are they saying? What are they saying?
Protest, Ruto must go.
Mysterious operation. Security agents arrest activist Boniface Mwangi in raids on his home and offices.
We will be there to do that which we can or which the law allows us. We will receive those petitions.
Off to work. IEBC confirms receiving 4 requests to recall members of parliament as it readies for 23 by-elections.
The Commission has awarded a salary increment of up to 29.5% for all various cadres of staff.
Deal at last. Teachers' unions and TSC agree on new collective bargaining agreement, with lower cadre teachers getting the highest salary increment.
Na huyu mtu ana huruma na mwenzake. Hii serikali inataka aje na sisi.
Mystery raids and beatings. Residents of Mwea, Kutus and Giashai in Kirinyaga decry harassment and intimidation by police. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Njoki Shege. Police have this evening arrested activist Boniface Mwangi after conducting searches of his home and office. The officers in plain clothes first raided Mwangi's home, searching it and carting away several items. They took him and went to his offices, where they conducted another search, again carting away more items before eventually taking him away. Police sources say Mwangi was arrested on suspicion of sponsoring Gen Z protests. His whereabouts remain unknown, with his lawyers searching for him.
Wait. So I'm innocent.
So what are they saying? What are they saying?
Monsieur Gope!
What are they saying? What are they saying?
Activist Boniface Mwangi is in police custody.
Ruto must go!
Plainclothes officers arrested him this evening at his Sema Ukweli office in Kilimani. DCI officers first searched the premises, seizing tear gas canisters and used bullet cartridges, which Mwangi allegedly collected from previous protests. Police linking the search to claims of terrorism and arson. But it all started earlier in the day at Mwangi's Lukenya home. Officers raided the house, seizing phones and laptops. They claimed they had a search warrant from the court to search the home. His lawyer Ian Mutiso says the warrant presented was specific. It only covered Mwangi's Kilimani office, yet police still went ahead to search his home illegally, he claims. A case challenging the raid will be filed on Monday. The arrest came just one day after Mwangi and Ugandan journalist Agatha Atuhaire filed a case at the East African Court of Justice accusing the governments of Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania and the EAC Secretary General of gross human rights violations. The petition filed in Arusha on July 18 seeks justice for the abduction in Tanzania in May and demands compensation of Kenyan shillings 130 million. The pair say they were in Dar es Salaam legally observing the treason trial of opposition leader Tundu Lissu, when they were seized by unknown operatives, held without charge and deported without explanation. Willie Lusige, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
We continue to keep an eye on that story, and as developments occur, we will keep you updated. Tension is high in Kirinyaga County following a week of night operations by people believed to be police officers in clubs, which has left scores nursing serious injuries. Victims of the operations conducted in Mwea, Kutus and Giashai say the men in police uniform armed with guns and whips strike without notice and attack revelers late in the night without reason. Those affected are reluctant to report to authorities, with residents claiming the assault, which came days after the Sabasaba protests, appears targeted. Leaders from the area have urged Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen to intervene. Gatete Njoroge has that report.
In this CCTV footage dated July 14th, armed men in police uniform are captured violently disrupting a group of young men playing pool at a local club in Mwea. Using whips, pool sticks and pool balls, the two men turn their anger on the group. The revelers take off in different directions to escape danger. A calm night suddenly turned chaotic. Inside the club, those who were enjoying their drink had to take cover before the two men reached their seats. As for these two, they had taken too many to manage a quick escape. The alleged police officers are captured assaulting them before one wakes up to escape only to fall. In a separate CCTV footage captured on the same day, men in police uniform storm another club where they assault more revelers before allowing them to leave the premises. However, the assault continues even in that moment when they try to find their way out. For a week now, Nicholas Mwangi has endured pain. He has been forced to spend his time at home after his attackers in police uniform stormed a local bar in Giashai village on July 11th.
Hawakuja atuambia watu walale chini. Kulala chini, wakaanza kutupiga. Wakatupiga. Alafu akatambia tutoka tuingia kagari. Kuingia kagari, mmoja akakuja na fimbo. Akanigonga hapa kwa mguu. Sasa kunigonga kwa mguu mimi nikaanguka chini. Sasa sisi tulikuwa tunafikiri mikora. Sasa ukaona nani serikali. Saka hizi ni hiyo vita ukiangalia. Na huyu mtu ana huruma na mwenzake. Hii serikali inataka aje na sisi.
Victims who are reluctant to report the assault to police want assurance from government that this is not a targeted attack following the Sabasaba protests.
Waliponitoa wakanda waliniweka pingu. Nikauliza napigwa nini? Hakuna. Watu walikuwa wakilambu wanapigwa. Sasa nikazindwa kama mtu ako na makosa, si anazikangwa anapelekwa kotini.
Hatuwezi kubabaisha na serikali kwa sababu wanasema ati wanasema hawakujua. Kwa nini walikuja na hawakujua? Na kuna mtu alikuwa amewatuma.
Wale watu ambao mnapiga na miti ya majembe, wale wa mama ambao mnahangaisha na wengine kuumiza, wakati mnataka habari ambazo zinafaa kuwafanya nyinyi wakati mnafanya upelelezi, wale ndio wanafaa kumwambia. Hata waziri nishamtumia hizo video azione, na nikamwambia ni vizuri polisi waache kuhangaisha wakazi pasipo na sababu.
Police in Kirinyaga have denied receiving reports of such incidents and want those affected to make formal complaints to allow them take action. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has confirmed receiving petitions seeking the recall of 4 members of parliament a week after the new commissioners were sworn in. Without naming the specific constituencies, the commission says it is reviewing the submissions and will respond accordingly. The commission, through its chair Erastus Edung Ethekon, has also announced that preparations are underway for by-elections for 23 elective seats that are currently vacant. Milito Letenges has more.
After taking oath of office, the new IBC team is at work. The The Commission reports it has received 4 separate petitions from members of the public calling for the recall of certain legislators. Details about the specific constituencies involved remain under wraps as officials continue their review.
We currently have roughly 4. We will look at them once we go back to the office. So going forward, of course, it's the right of every Kenyan to exercise that right of recall under the Constitution. And as IEBC, we will be there to do that which we can or which the law allows us. We will receive those petitions, we will examine them, and then we will, of course, respond to them.
In addition to handling recall petitions, the Commission has announced plans to carry out by-elections in 23 elective posts that are vacant. These include 1 Senate seat, 6 constituencies, and 16 wards, pending official declarations of vacancy from the National Assembly and the Senate.
They will write to the Commission. They will issue something called a writ. Once those writs that expired have been reissued, then it gives us a window of about 90 days. So about 3 months, within which to execute our plan to hold those by-elections and to conclude with them.
Striving for greater voter participation, the IEBC is preparing to roll out a targeted registration drive. Special focus will be placed on engaging Generation Z, who have been especially active on social media and are increasingly vocal in the political space.
We hear the voices of young Kenyans demanding the opportunity to be counted and to be actively involved in these democratic processes of rebuilding our country, Kenya. The work of our Secretariat and now the full commission constituted has been laying the groundwork for the resumption of voter registration to ensure that no voice or no voices are left out.
The Commission is urging young Kenyans to register and take part in upcoming elections, stating that efforts are also underway to clean up the voter register and implement comprehensive reforms to ensure credible polls in 2027.
We reaffirm that the credibility of any elections depends heavily on the accuracy and integrity of the voter register. A clean and inclusive register is not merely administrative. It is the foundation of free, fair, and transparent elections.
Meanwhile, the court is expected to issue guidance on the long-stalled boundary delimitation process, an exercise that has already exceeded its constitutional timeline. Melita Oletenges, CitizenTV.
ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna is calling on the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to take action against the Wajir woman representative Fatma Jeho over controversial remarks suggesting that leaders from northern Kenya would rig the 2027 vote if President William Ruto's votes are not enough. Sifuna insists Jeho, elected on an ODM ticket, must carry her own political cross. He was speaking at ODM headquarters in Nairobi after a meeting with newly recruited Gen Z members.
We want the IEBC to summon these people who are threatening to interfere with elections, not just condemn in a letter. We want them to be summoned there. And the NCIC, because we all know what happened in 2007. The precursor of the violence was the interference of the elections of 2007. So anybody who's talking about interference with the election is actually a threat to this country, and they must be dealt with. ODM will not protect anyone, even if it is from within our ranks.
Kenyan teachers will start enjoying the benefits of a new collective bargaining agreement signed between their unions and their employer, the Teachers Service Commission. The deal sees teachers getting a salary hike of up to 29.5% for the lowest earning teachers, raising their salary from 23,000 to at least 29,000 shillings. The CBA will cost the government 33.8 billion shillings and will be implemented over a 4-year period. Brenda Wanga has more.
After a series of day-long meetings that ran late into the night, the Teachers Service Commission and 3 teachers' unions penned the CBA that sees the country's more than 400,000 teachers take home fatter payslips starting this July. The 2025 to 2029 collective bargaining agreement has bestowed teachers a salary hike across job groups.
And after elaborate negotiations, the Commission has awarded a salary increment of up to 29.5% for all various cadres of staff.
I think teachers will have something to smile about. It is true that the lower cadre of teachers has been mentioned by TSC chairman. As compared to the upper cadre, the lower cadre has received a hefty increment in terms of percentages. So teachers at the lower cadre have a lot to smile about.
Lakini pia ilikuwa ngumu sana sababu nakumbuka budget haikuweza kuweka marupurupu za walimu ama pesa za kuongeza walimu katika budget. So tumekuwa tukisukuma out of the budget. Na imebidi tusukume paka tumepata hii increment ambayo itachukua takriban shilingi bilioni 33.8. So the entire CBA is 33.8 billion. Lakini inakuwa spread kwa miaka 4.
In the new CBA, the lowest paid teacher in job group B5 will now earn a minimum of 28,000 shillings 620 and a maximum of 37,000 shillings, while the highest paid teacher in job group D5 will take home a minimum of 154,000 shillings and a maximum of 167,000 shillings per month. The CBA also introduces a new baggage allowance to cater for teachers' transfers expenditure that will be computed per kilometre. Beyond the monetary benefits, teachers will also enjoy other perks.
The Commission shall grant female lactating teachers 2 hours of 2 hours time off per day for 2 months to breastfeed. It is our firm belief that through such progressive allowance, the majority of the key concerns raised by the teachers have been fully addressed.
We have removed career progression, and progressively it will end on 30th June 2026. The career progression, which has been a thorn on the flesh from 2018, which made some of our teachers to be interdicted, has been under review, and now it will not be in existence from June 30th, 2026.
The unions had asked the government to award salary hikes of up to 100%, but upon assessment by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, the TSC tabled the 29.5% maximum increment offer that was accepted by the 3 unions. The teachers' employers at the same time says it will spend 1 billion shillings on the promotion of all teachers across all cadres and retool senior school teachers at a cost of 950 million shillings. Brenda Wanga, CitizenTV.
Tonight, the family of Edward Maingi-Ndegwa, a patient who was killed at the Kenyatta National Hospital, has broken their silence over the murder of their kin. In an interview with CitizenTV, Maingi's mother narrated how the killing of her son in the facility where they had gone to seek medical care has left the family heartbroken. They're demanding answers on the circumstances surrounding the killing. Franklin Wala has more.
It is a difficult moment for the family of Edward Maingi-Ndegwa. His distraught mother has to deal with the sudden and very harsh reality of his death at Kenyatta National Hospital. She thought he was safe there.
It is so painful because I thought he was in a safe place. Skube alikuwa in a slaughterhouse.
Margaret, a widow, narrates to us how she struggled single-handedly to raise Maingi. The heartbroken and ailing widow blames the KNH management. She says the medical facility made questionable decisions, and the pain is compounded by police claims that the suspect was linked to another murder of a patient at the facility in February this year.
Is Kenyatta a mental hospital or a medical hospital? Why should a mental disturbed man be kept at a given side room in a ward with unconscious patients?
Edward fell ill on 11th July and was rushed to KNH for medical attention, unaware that it will be his last hospital visit. His family says after their patient had stabilized, there were plans to have him discharged on Friday. He was murdered a day before on Thursday. The murder suspect was a patient who had stayed in the facility since November 2022.
And when he said that he had no home, he should have been taken to a government institute of destitutes. It's very hurting.
An autopsy on Maingi's body is expected on Monday as his family prepares to have him interred in Mkurueni, Nyeri County. Meanwhile, investigators will be arraigning Kennedy Kalombotole, the prime murder suspect at Milimani Law Courts, for a miscellaneous application seeking more time to probe the murder.
I am waiting for a fair justice for my son and for the rest of the patients in Kenyatta Hospital.
Detectives insist they have gathered enough evidence that they believe will sustain murder charges against the accused, despite his mental status. Franklin Wala, Citizen TV.
Our hearts go out to the family. Pro-government politicians have intensified calls for Kenyans to shun street protests, asking for support to deliver on various development projects. Speaking in Kajiado County, the Deputy President, Kithure Kindiki, took a swipe at the opposition, accusing it of failing to offer solutions during their time in government. Similar sentiments were echoed by leaders in Rift Valley and Central Kenya, who called for the arrest and prosecution of those who allegedly funded recent protests that left scores dead and hundreds others nursing injuries. Laura Otieno has more.
While listing development projects in the pipeline that will eventually see the full implementation of the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki continued to rally for dialogue. The message by the pro-government team today shifting gears to the development agenda, which they said is severely lacking from their counterparts in the opposition.
Kila siku ni mambo yao ya ubinafsi. Saa ile wametoka kwa kiti, sasa ndio wamekuwa werevu, ndio wako na mambo mingi. Kirao niko na maana wakati iko kwa kichwa. Ikitoka kwa kichwa ni mabati.
Latest next year, you will see all what is in the plan to have been fulfilled. So we are on course, and I want to assure all Kenyans not to politicize development.
The overseas trip by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was also heavily criticized, termed as a plot to further polarize Kenyans and rally tribal camps.
Kile tunaita the diaspora, they are so integrated, wanakaa kila mtu wanakaa kama sisi tunataka tukae hapa wa Kenya bila ukabila. Sasa wewe unapeleka ukabila, you are exporting your bad manners from here. Shame on you.
Na waomba tuendelee kuishi na umoja kama Wakenya hapa Kajiado. Tusikubali kiongozi hata mmoja atuchochee kwa misingi ya mahali tulitoka.
To be here today.
The leaders also fueling the calls for the arrest and prosecution of those responsible for the mayhem in the recent protests, which resulted not only in deaths and injuries, but also destruction of property.
Na nimeona wengine wanalia sana. Watu wakianza kushikwa, mtu anaanza kulia, anasema oh, mgongo inauma, mtoto ni mgonjwa. This government ya President William Ruto na Professor Kindiki will deal very firmly kwa wale ambao wanachochea na wale ambao wanaharibu mali ya watu.
Eti mnachoma biashara ya watu kwa lugha ya kutafuta umaarufu. Umaarufu unaweza kutafuta bila kuharibu mali watu.
The leaders also vowed to continue with the fundraisers which they said align with the bottom-up agenda. Laura Otieno, Citizen TV.
Royal Credit, the majority shareholder in Direct Line Assurance, is warning the public against investing in a purported share sale by the underwriter. In a strongly worded statement, Royal Credit clarifies that Direct Line is a private company and that none of its shares are up for sale. The firm says it has written to the Insurance Regulatory Authority, to inquire whether the alleged transaction has been authorized as required by law, since Direct Line is not a public company. Willie Lusige reports.
Royal Credit Limited, the largest shareholder in Direct Line Assurance, has rejected attempts by individuals claiming ownership to sell 90% of the company's shares, saying Direct Line Assurance Company Limited, DAC, is an insurer regulated by the Insurance Act, Cap 487 of the laws of Kenya. DAC is not a public company, and any sale of its paid-up share capital or shares exceeding 10% requires a written approval from the Insurance Regulatory Authority, IRA, as provided for under Section 166, subsection 1A of the Insurance Act. In a letter to the Insurance Regulatory Authority and with a buyer be aware warning to the public, Royal Credit Limited, led by Dr. S.K. Masharia, says it was shocked by a public notice suggesting a plan to offload majority stake without the knowledge or approval of the actual majority shareholder. The company has issued a stern warning to Kenyans and potential investors against falling victim to what it calls a fraudulent scheme. The advert claimed that Direct Line management had secretly decided to sell 90% of its shares, each priced at Kenyan shillings 81, without any consent from Royal Credit. Royal Credit is now demanding that the Insurance Regulatory Authority, IRA, confirm whether it received a forged communication authorizing the sale. The firm emphasizes that it has never sought approval to sell any shares in Direct Line and has no plans whatsoever to do so. It further insists that any sale of shares must be approved solely by the rightful shareholders, not by individuals without no legal authority, and wants any interested buyer to perform due diligence before making a purchase, as no Direct Line shares are currently up for sale. Willie Lusige, Citizen TV.
We take a break on Citizen Weekend, but as we take a break, I do have an update on the whereabouts of Boniface Mwangi. He has been taken to the Pangani police station. However, there are no visits tonight. Those who've gone to seek for him and check on his condition have been told to go back tomorrow. So Boniface Mwangi is currently being held at the Pangani police station. However, no visits have been allowed at the present time. Thank you for staying with us on Citizen Weekend. Now, imagine seeing the changing skyline of Nairobi every day as part of your work. 29-year-old Anna Ashihami doesn't have to. She is one of the laborers building Nairobi's tallest building as a forklift operator. Brenda Wanga spent a day with her and penned this story of a young girl breaking barriers one floor at a time.
Nairobi's skyline is constantly changing, and with the Dean of Construction sites, another building is coming up. Upon completion, it will be the second tallest building in the city. At the very core of its ascent, we find Anne Ashinami, aged 29. Anne isn't just a vital cog in this massive undertaking. She is its critical vein, supplying labor and construction material up and down the massive storied building.
Kikuja kila siku asubuhi, kwanza ni kuferi watu juu waende places wanafanya kazi. Then after hapo naanza kupandisha material. Then kuna wale watu wa kuteremuka pia, naanza kuwateremsha wenye naendea materials. Hivyo tu the whole day.
Her journey to the top wasn't easy and typical. It wasn't also what she had always wanted to do, but she made the best of the opportunity presented to her at yet another construction site. Her ambition and a keen eye for detail didn't go unnoticed there and led her to this office in the sky.
Kwa construction niliingia kama storekeeper. Sasa nikakuwa natamani kufanya hii kazi sana. Baadaye nikakaa nikaambiwa na Mchina kama unaweza kuwa interested badala ya kukaa tu hapa ukuje at least ujifunze kitu kingine tofauti. Kafunzwa the first day venye wanaenda wanarudi hivyo. Sasa nikajua. Sasa nikaanza sasa kwa reliever from hapo. Sasa after kukaa kitu kama miezi 2 hivi. Sasa nikapewa sasa hoist sasa permanent.
In a sector largely dominated by men, Anne stands out. She's one of the few women operating heavy machinery on such a grand scale in Kenya. But for Anne, gender is simply not a factor in what she can achieve.
Naambia ladies wajitokeze wakuja kwa site. Kuna kazi mingi wakuja kujifunza. At least wanaweza pata unaanza na chini, kazi ya chini, then unachikuta uko mahali kwingine. Kama mimi nilianza kama storekeeper, lakini sasa hivi ni operator.
Her days are a constant rhythm of ascent and descent, a crucial dance that keeps the entire project moving. She takes immense pride in her role.
Ni muhimu wangu hapa, lazima nikuwe hapa ndio material, ni supply material. Hii ndio imefanya hii nyumba imekuwa hivi. Because hii lift ndio supply material zote. Yeah, tangu ianze tulianzia hapa, lift iliwekwa ikiwa namba 8.
Nikimwambia nifanyie kazi kuhusiana na kupeleka watu juu, huwa anafika kwa sign inahitajika, na anaanza kunipelekea watu kwa zile levels zenye mimi nahitaji, na lazima mpaka afate instruction yangu. That's why tumemweka hapo.
From the dizzying heights of Nairobi's newest landmark, Anne is not just lifting materials and people, she's lifting expectations and proving that with skill and determination, the sky is the limit for anyone with a dream. Anne is not just moving labor and material up this construction site. With each successful ascent, floor by floor, she is also breaking barriers in a male-dominated field. And for her troubles, this is the reward she gets every day, these breathtaking views of the city of Nairobi. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Indeed, what a view, Brenda. A 6-day M-Pesa Sokoni caravan in the Rift Valley has come to a thrilling conclusion in Baringo. The caravan toured more than 30 locations in the region to mark 18 years of M-Pesa services in Kenya. Safaricom partnered with Royal Media Services to make the initiative a success.
The home of champions C10 town got a taste of the M-Pesa Sokoni experience, with residents enjoying a rare opportunity to interact with their favorite presenters from Radio Citizen and Chamge FM.
Safaricom imeweza kutana na wateja wake na kuwaletea huduma karibu, na pia vile vile kuwazawadia kusema asante sana kwa miaka 18 ya ufanisi ndani ya M-Pesa.
Pia kama kampuni Royal Media Services, na tumefurahi kabisa na tunawashukuru, tunawaambia tuko ongoi missing kwa kukuja kushirikiana na sisi, kutangamana na sisi.
Anafuata Munai vile amemwambia.
Safaricom is touring different parts of the country to celebrate 18 years of M-Pesa success alongside its customers at the grassroots.
18 years of making progress in this country. Today we've talked about the different tools that we have to invest. So we talked about ZD. We've talked about the importance of keeping your PIN safe and secure, to ensure that we're keeping your money safe and that you're not going to be socially engineered.
M-Pesa kutuma ni free kuanzia up to shilingi 100. Pia lipa na M-Pesa ni free transactions for the customers. Pia ningependa kuambia wateja wetu asante sana kwa kuwa na sisi miaka yote, na partners wetu, our M-Pesa agents na dealers wetu wote, pia na Citizen kwa kutu support.
The caravan toured E10, Biretuo, Kabarnet and later Eldama Ravine. With plenty of giveaways for Safaricom customers. The Gen Z were not left behind, as the caravan hosted a special event at Ole Source Polytechnic in Nandi County, where they learned more about Safaricom Hook, a communication platform tailored for the youth.
Tumejua vitu vingi yenye tuko najua, like sisi tukiwa wanafunzi wa ICT pia na kama youth.
The purpose of Safaricom Hook is to empower our youth through connecting them to valuable opportunities and also making sure that we are offering value and affordability when it comes to bundles and devices.
From the Rift Valley, the M-Pesa Sokoni caravan now heads to Mount Kenya region. Steve Shitera, Citizen TV, Kabarnet, Baringo.
Naivas Supermarket today celebrated its 35th anniversary with a special customer appreciation event held across all its branches nationwide. Speaking during the event, the managing director, David Kimani, highlighted Naivas's journey since its founding in 1990. crediting customer loyalty and community support as key drivers of its growth. The retailer reaffirmed its commitment to expanding its footprint and enhancing customer experience. Plans are underway to open more outlets in various regions. The event featured celebrations and giveaways as a way of thanking customers for their continued support over the last 3.5 decades. Naivas says the appreciation events across its branches are part of efforts to give back to the community and recognize those who have contributed to the company's success.
Years ago in a town called Rongai, and from Rongai we went to Elbagon for the second shop, then later to Naivasha. Naivasha we came in 1996, and the rest is history. Now we are at 110 branches, and we want to thank our customers and say thank you very much for supporting Naivas and actually supporting your local company. Yes.
I feel amazing. It was actually unexpected. I didn't expect to get these gifts, but I'm very thankful and I really appreciate them.
Heartiest congratulations goes to the family. It's all not by luck, it's sheer hard work, dedication, not only from the customer's side, but from the supplier's side. They manage the suppliers and the customers and the staff very well. I would say that if you look at it, everybody is happy. The customers are happy, they got a good deal. Staff are very well looked after. Suppliers, as suppliers, we can't fault them at all. They tell you a payment is going to be on this date, and you never have to ask them. It is there on that day.
In marking 15 years of commemorating the legacy of Nelson Mandela, Better Healthcare International Limited and the South African High Commission dedicated their Mandela Day celebrations to giving back to the society. Spending 67 minutes of service in honor of the 67 years Mandela spent fighting for justice and peace. At the Kenyatta National Hospital, the Better Healthcare International Limited team led this year's initiative by uplifting Ward 3B, a pediatric unit, through comprehensive renovations. The team focused on upgrading the ward's sanitary spaces, including toilets and washrooms, with civil works, carpentry and tiling all part of the transformation. This follows last year's improvements to the same ward involving paintwork and furniture installation. The effort is meant to be a continuation of Mandela's legacy.
The legacy of Nelson Mandela, where Nelson Mandela said that it's not just a life that we live, but the significance that we make towards the life of others. So by doing so, directly or indirectly with our team members as well, we would like to make a significant difference, even if it's only one life or many lives of children, by commemorating that legacy of Nelson Mandela.
The sports news coming up next. The national football team, Harambee Stars, has arrived in Arusha, Tanzania, ahead of the CECAFA Four Nations tournament, which serves as a build-up to the upcoming African Nations Championship qualifiers. The team jetted out this morning aboard a chartered flight after a 10-day training camp in Nairobi. Bandari striker Beja Nyamawi was dropped from the travelling squad due to injury, with Masood Juma called up as his replacement. Kenya is set to open its campaign against rivals Uganda on Monday before facing host Tanzania and then Senegal in the round-robin tournament. Justin Kiprop and Joyce Chepkemoi emerged victorious in the men's and women's categories, respectively, during the Uzalendo Half Marathon held today in Eldama Ravine, Baringo County. In the men's race, 21-year-old Kiprop from Elgeyo Marakwet clocked an impressive 1 hour, 4 minutes and 34 seconds, finishing ahead of Stephen Kibet and Peter Tuitoek, who took second and third places, respectively. In the women's category, Joyce Chepkemoi claimed the top spot.
My training, I train Mamilima hard course skiers, so it was favor to me. This is an exciting moment when
we actually get to see corporates, working together with government, working with individuals to support our young children that are going through financial hardship. We should basically not leave any child behind.
Over the years, the pool table game has been associated with gambling and idle youth. But professionals from the South Rift are determined to change that narrative. Professional men from Narok and Bomet counties have organized a mega pool tournament, attracting over 60 participants with the goal of using the sport to foster cohesion between the two neighboring counties. The organizers said this is the second edition of the event aimed at promoting unity and strengthening social bonds.
Ambayo inatuweka pamoja, tunakuja hapa kutengeneza urafiki, kujuana kibiashara na pia kuzidi kuleta utangamano kati ya hizi counties tatu ambayo amezitaja ambayo zinajumuika kwa siku ya leo. County ya Bomet ambayo ni host, county ya Kericho na sisi ambayo ni county ya Narok.
Tumekuwa na hii tournament ya pool, hii ni mara yetu ya pili. Na maana ya kukuwa na hii tournament ni kulete sisi pamoja, like-minded individuals. We've been having this pool tournament, so this is the second time. So it is meant to bring us together, to make us bond more and create friendship across.
Mwalimu wa math, hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi? Ni hao. We have a literal Mwalimu wa math coming up on Diaspora Connect with Neville, and he's in the country taking a rest from China. He teaches math in China. That's right. So, time for myself, Olive Burrows, and Jokishege, our sign language interpreter, to leave the stage. Good night.